Carmen. I teach at Johnson Collegiate in Regina, and I mainly teach English and psychology. Self-assessment is a big part of how students learn what assessment means. And I know as teachers, we typically want assessment to be a big piece of learning, and it is. But lots of times students flip to the back of something you've carefully written all over. They look at their mark and then they stuff it in their binder and never really look away or look at it again or try and learn from it. So one thing I like to do is have students predict where they think they're at. So sometimes it's marking up the rubric ahead of time, which is actually kind of a emotional crisis for me because I try to be very objective when I'm marking. But if a student says, yeah, I'm a 4 in this, I absolutely believe I'm a 4, and I come to it and I'm like, oh, you're a 2, there's a bit of an emotional journey I have to go on there. So that's mainly what I would do in a class where they know me really well and they trust that I'm looking out for them. But in terms of self-assessment where they completely mark themselves, I've done that a few times. Like here's one from a this is from a leadership class. I try and split it because I know that when I do student assessment, sometimes kids are going to take the easy way out and they're not really going to interact with it as thoughtfully as I would dream they would. So this is half and half. This half was completely their assessment, and this half they wrote something and I assessed it. I use a spectrum. So this is still the 4-point scale, but I ask them to color in because they have a harder time choosing a number for themselves. They know a 3 out of a 4 is 75%, but they know that they maybe weren't 100%, but they don't want to give themselves a 3 out of a 4 because it's 75. So if they use a spectrum and indicate where they think they're at, it frees them a little bit. And then I assess the reflection bit at the bottom. Which I feel like in some ways is my safeguard. Like if you have not really learned what we were talking about here, it will be evident in your reflection, and I'll be able to at least see that there and have that half of the assessment reflect what I had observed.